After disappointment in Europe on Thursday, it's back to Premier League business for Jurgen Klopp's men this afternoon. Manchester City's win over Luton yesterday sees them start the day in top spot. Come this evening, the leader could still be City, but it could be Liverpool or Arsenal. Mikel Arteta's side are in action against Aston Villa later on. Right now, though, all eyes are on Anfield. It is a 2 o'clock kick-off here against Crystal Palace. The Eagles are perched just 5 points above the relegation zone. Yeah, welcome along to Anfield and to Matchday Live. My guests today are the former Liverpool goalkeeper David James and the former Liverpool and Crystal Palace defender Martin Kelly, currently on the books at West Brom. Now, first things first, I'm not as short as this is making me look, right? We have tall guests, I'm in a ditch, that's why. I'm just going to clarify that at the start of the show. To more serious matters, Martin, you've had a difficult time, a knee injury kept you out for a while. How's the recovery going? Are you almost back to fitness and ready to play as the season draws to a close?
Yeah, it's been a long road. Anyone who has hurt the knee before knows how sophisticated it can be. It's been another ACL injury that I had previous 10 years ago at Liverpool, so it was difficult again, but easier with children now, married and stuff, so a different aspect on that. But yeah, back fit, back training, and towards the end of the season now, so just looking to keep as fit as I can going into next season.
Yeah, hopefully to get some game time before the season is done, and maybe also secure. If anyone in the Northwest wants a defender, this man could be available. In terms of the picture of the here and now, and away from Martin's football in time, David, in terms of the Premier League, in terms of Liverpool, this game's taken on real significance, hasn't it? Because it was important before midweek, but given what happened against Atalanta, real significance on the performance and result today.
Yes, and dare I say, for the few Liverpool fans I've had chats with today, they want to see a return to Liverpool's good playing form compared to what happened in, as you say, midweek. But they're still confident that Liverpool can get the result, which is the main thing.
In terms of where we go into today, if we look at the Premier League table, David, it's tight at the top. We knew it was going to be this way for the duration, but it is not letting up. You were at the game, we saw City yesterday,
yes,
retake top spot. You do get a sense it's going to chop and change over the course of the next few weeks.
Absolutely, and the one thing I have said all along is that I see this more as a two-horse race between Liverpool and Manchester City. Obviously Arsenal are involved in the number game at the moment, but I just think that the win will come from Liverpool and City, and if that sounds confusing, just think of an 800-metre race, and when you get to the last 50 metres, two people run off. Well, I assume that's going to be City and Liverpool, but again, the Atalanta result is a question on performance today. But irrespective of what happened in midweek, had Liverpool won comfortably, people would still want to see and need to see Liverpool winning today, because I think the team that starts losing points is obviously the one who's not going to win this.
Arsenal with a better goal difference at the moment, Martin. Do you think that will be in the back of the minds of the players yet, or does that only come into the equation once you get into those last 2 or 3 fixtures?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be in the players' mindset sets yet. It's more towards the latter stages, but like David said, I see Arsenal being there or thereabouts, but I can only see the title going to one of City or Liverpool. To be honest, they've all got. There's no easy game in the Premier League, as we know. Anyone can turn up on the day and provide a stellar performance that can win on any given day. So it's got to be Liverpool's mindset how they approach the game today, especially early on, because I can imagine Palace, who are fighting, they're not safe yet, so they're going to come here and try the hardest to get something out of this game today.
Well, on that, if we look at the bottom of the table, yes, not in the relegation zone, but as I mentioned at the top of the programme, just 5 points keeping them from danger. How will they view what they need to do in these remaining games? What do you think they will look at and say, well, that gets us safe?
Yeah, well, I think it's a difficult period for Palace to get a new manager when they're not safe at the moment. So obviously Oliver's come in, he's stamped his way of playing on the team, but he doesn't have time to do that until having probably a full pre-season behind him. So Palace have got to get as many points as they can on the board, whether it's a couple of draws could see them safe. What they can't do is take on a new formation, a new tactical awareness, and and just jump ship as start such an important time period for the Premier League for them now. So they've got to buy into what Oliver's saying to them and try their best in the last 6-7 games.
I suppose one of the things you have to throw into the mix at this stage of the season, David, is you sometimes get erroneous results. Teams pull a performance out through necessity. It could be a team at the bottom. We saw in the Championship over the weekend, some teams at the bottom really pulled out results against the guys pushing for promotion, and the same can be the case in the Premier League as well.
Yeah, I've been in this position, or the position the Palace have been in, I think only once in my career. Yeah, I think we were cut dry a couple of times before that. But point being is that Palace will be looking at Luton, because Luton are the third team of those bottom three. Having watched Luton yesterday and being a bit of a Luton Town supporter, the thing is you're struggling to see where Luton are going to get their wins. So Palace have got this safety net. They've also got a couple of teams in between them. The thing that gets me, rather than just saying we need to avoid relegation, is each place in the Premier League is worth £3 million. At least 3 million. And there's a part where you say, well, actually, rather than just worrying about relegation, why don't we try and jump up a couple of places? Because all of a sudden, £6 million makes a very big difference to your transfer opportunities, wages and whatever. I know it sounds weird for a team in a relegation or towards a relegation battle, but the focus is always on not getting relegated. And I don't think Palace, Brentford especially yesterday getting the result, I don't think they're in danger of going down. This is literally between Luton, possibly Nottingham Forest, possibly Everton, if they get any more points deducted, which would be lovely.
Yeah, you do get a sense that they won't be dragged into things. But you've been in there, you've been in the dressing room, and it gets down, that end of the table at this stage of the season. Anxiety can creep in, and until it's mathematically off the table, you kind of can't accept it, you'll be saying.
No, definitely, and I think this is Palace's 12th season in the Premier League now. So I was there for 8 of them seasons, and each season we were fighting relegation. So they're more than used to not being safe up until the last 3 or 4 games. They've been in that position for as long as I've been at Palace, 2014. So the fans deserved to get something better out of the team. They've got a very good squad now, a lot of good players who can give the fans what they deserve, being in the Premier League but fighting relegation for that long. Looking now for the first season, they do miss Wilfred. They've replaced him well on either flanks. He's so important to that team. It's nice to see that hopefully they can stay up without him, because he was the talisman that year on year produced the assists, the goals for us to get us out of that scrap, and was the difference between us staying up and going back into the Championship.
Zaha was a star player for Palace for so long. Now, of course, plying his trade over in Turkey with Galatasaray. OK, well, tomorrow is the 35th anniversary of the Hillsborough tragedy. 97 Liverpool supporters lost their lives as a result of events that occurred at the FA Cup semi-final against Nottingham Forest on the 15th of April 1989. The date is a significant and poignant one in the club's history, and one which brings Liverpool FC together in remembrance of the 97 and to share love and support for their families, the survivors and all those impacted by the tragedy. On Friday, a new survivors bench was unveiled adjacent to the Hillsborough Memorial outside the main stand. The specially designed bench was installed to recognise the survivors of the tragedy and to serve as a permanent reminder of their strength, unity and courage since that day in 1989. Players will wear black armbands during this afternoon's game. And before kick-off, a period of silence will be observed and a mosaic will be displayed on the Kop to remember the 97. Earlier today, club chairman Tom Werner paid his respects on behalf of Fenway Sports Group by laying a wreath at the memorial. The thoughts of everyone at the club, with all of those affected by the Hillsborough tragedy. OK, we are coming up to an hour away from kick-off between Liverpool and Crystal Palace. And that means it's time to find out the team news. We can cross live now into the tunnel to our reporter, Peter McDowell.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Never before have 3 teams at the top of the Premier League been in this position after 31 games with 70 points plus. Manchester City doing what we expected of them yesterday, and now it's Liverpool's turn to put pressure back on Arsenal again. And very rarely have we been in this position either, where Liverpool are trying to put 2 performances behind them from Manchester United and Atalanta in the week. But we are where we are, and Jurgen Klopp has had to try and recover legs as well as minds in a very short period of time as well. So very much the same squad that was available to him on Thursday night, available for today. He made 6 changes for Atalanta, another 5 for today, and the big headline being that Alisson Becker returns to that starting lineup in goal after that absence since February the 4th. So let's go through the team in full then, and of course it's a team that has won 27 points from losing position, so that very much key to get the big man back in amongst the sticks again. Endo and Virgil van Dijk continue. Ibrahima Konate on his 50th Premier League appearance for Liverpool is the man to partner him. Diaz and Núñez continue as well. No goals against Palace yet for big Darwin Núñez. He will want to change that today. Also continuing is Alexis McAllister, and Mo Salah back in the 11 again. 8 in 11 against Crystal Palace. He loves games against London teams. He's got 50 goals in 84 games against them, and got his 200th Liverpool goal, you might remember, against Palace back in December as well. Another start for Curtis Jones. That was his first midweek, and of course withdrawn at half-time. His first start since February the 17th in midweek. Robertson back in the lineup, as is Conor Bradley as well. He started 15 of the last 19 games. Conor Bradley, he's almost been an immovable force for Liverpool since his introduction into first-team action. So Kelleher back on the bench again, and then it's an array of talent really. And Gomez, Szoboszlai, who's featured in the last 5 games for Liverpool now. Gakpo, Harvey Elliott, who got the winner against Crystal Palace back in December as well, so he could come in very handy. And also Jota, all eyes on him at the moment. He's got 21 goals in his last 37. He's 1 away from 100 career goals as well in first-team football, and Trent Alexander-Arnold featuring on that substitute bench as well. Oliver Glasner might feel as though the summer can't come soon enough for him. They will want to get a full pre-season and his new ideas into this new Crystal Palace side. They should be okay. They're at 15th place at the moment and 5 away from that trapdoor, but they would really love to come here and spark some kind of surprise against Liverpool here today. Michael Alisson has been given the full week to prove his fitness. He is back in the side. They make 2 changes, Crystal Palace, to their side today. The last time out beaten 4-2 by Manchester City. So Dean Henderson in goal. Also a start for Nathaniel Clyne today. 103 games for Liverpool. Might be a back 3, might be a 4. Joachim Andersen is always in there, isn't he? And ever present in Premier League football for them. The only one in their side that can boast that at the moment. Tyrick Mitchell and Jefferson Lerma might make up the 4. Then it's Adam Wharton, Will Hughes and Daniel Munoz. And Elise, as mentioned before, goal involvement's the 3rd best in the Premier League in that Crystal Palace side. Eze starts as well. Started the last 5 after a hamstring injury. And Jean-Philippe Mateta, he scored in 4 of his new boss's 6 games. 5 of his 11 goals have been since February on his 100th Crystal Palace appearance in there today. And as you can see, quite a bit of experience on the bench as well. Jurgen Klopp has won more games against Crystal Palace than any other opposition. Liverpool have won 12 of their last 14. They need win number 13 against them today to keep that Premier League title race right on track.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, we'll delve into that Palace team in a little while in the show. But in terms of Liverpool's selections, I guess one name stands out. Alisson Becker returns, his first involvement since that Arsenal game at the start of February. You were chatting when we arrived here, David, about the possibility of whether he could return. What do you think the manager has weighed up with pushing him back into the team today?
Well, I think last time we had this conversation, it was along the lines that Kelleher is doing fantastically well and that he should stay inside even if Alisson was fit. However, I think the situation is that Liverpool now, especially with the game coming up again at Atalanta in midweek, the position as we showed there with the league, going to need all the experience they can get. I think Ali, providing he's, I say 100% fit, as long as he is 100% match fit, which doesn't necessarily mean 100% physically fit, then he is the best goalkeeper in the world and he should be playing. The concern would always be that if he was rushed in for any reason, wasn't 100% match fit, and him being on the field is detrimental towards Liverpool's potential of winning the game. But a fit Ali is always going to be #1 goalie.
Even though Caveen knows he's number 2 here. Will he have found it okay to step aside there, or will it niggle at him? Given he's actually played more games than Ali now this season. How will he have found that transition back out of the team, do you think? You've been in that situation. It can't be easy when you're a goalkeeper because it's players fighting for one jersey.
Yeah, I was in that situation here as well, which I struggled with. But the very nature of goalkeeping was different there. Even though there were 2, maybe even 3 goalkeepers in the squad, there was a out-and-out number 1 essentially. I think the thing for Caoimhin is, had he been keeping clean sheets, Liverpool been winning all the games, and all of a sudden Ali's back in, then you'd be a big question mark over what he has to do in order to be challenging for that number 1, because ultimately he still wants to challenge, even if Ali is the best goalie in the world. But Liverpool haven't been keeping clean sheets, and therefore there isn't so much of an argument, and he continues to be in that sort of second row pecking order. So I don't think there'll be any complaints. But you just need Ali to be really nice to keep a clean sheet, and maybe a couple of assists just to prove he's back.
I'll take that. Curtis Jones also starts. He got 45 in midweek, a couple of sub appearances before that. He could play a really important role, couldn't he? Because he'd been so important in that Liverpool team, both the back end of last season, but also this season, in terms of looking after the ball, work rate as well, and quality on the ball. Yeah,
the back end of last season was the first time I thought Curtis was a real part of the squad and a big influence. This half, I think he's had 12 starts, 19 games in total, so he'll be looking to make contribution as much as he can today. It's a perfect game for Curtis to come back into, to show, you know, his importance in this side, which I think you hit the nail on the head with his all-round attributes. His creativity, along with Alexis, is going to be massive today, with me expecting Liverpool having most of the ball. So I'm looking forward to watching Curtis. I'm sure he'll be made up with, you know, missing a little bit with injury. I know that myself when I first broke into the team at Liverpool. It's difficult to watch people, you know, develop. There's a lot of young talent that has developed since Curtis has been out, and Curtis has got to come back in, show his authority, being more of a senior, younger player now. So I think he can do that today and step up, and he'll be playing a massive role for Liverpool.
No surprise at the top end of the field that he's gone with the big hitters. We kind of thought that would be the case. Firepower to hurt Palace and test Palace this afternoon.
Yes, and again, I mean, there's, I think, a lot of reflection on what happened midweek. Even when you're talking about Curtis, I mean, the highlights we just showed there were all at 0-0. Once Atalanta had scored, Curtis was actually frozen out of the game a lot because he wasn't able to get the ball. I think there was going up front as well, the forward line wasn't getting the opportunities, and that's why Jurgen had to make those changes at half time. But I think everyone wants to see Mo Salah getting back into the groove. There's a golden boot at stake as well, which Mo is more than well positioned to challenge for this year, which is, I think, I know it's an individual award, but if you can supply the opportunities for Mo to get that golden boot.
Well, there's no harm in targeting individual awards if it's for the greater good along the way as well, though. That's the thing.
I mean, you've already touched upon it. The goal difference could be a massive factor in the outcome of the Premier League this season. Mo Salah's at the top of the goal scoring for Liverpool at the moment. You've got Diaz in there as well. And again, both starting today. So if both of them can chip in with Ali getting assists, I think we'll be happy.
You've got the moon on the stick, you do. In terms of hurting Palace, we'll look at Palace in detail a bit later on, Martin. But given they play a 3, is that space in between the wing backs and the wide centre halves, is that where we try and pull them out of position and move them around a little bit? Where would you not want to be if you were playing in that Palace team today?
Yeah, I wouldn't be like to getting dragged over to the corner as a left-sided or right-sided centre-half, which you're touching on there. If my wing-back goes out to press, say, the right-back of Liverpool or Robertson down the left, that's going to expose that space in that channel. So I think the key thing when I spoke to the lads who were still there at Palace with Oliver is the work rate. They won't sit back today. They'll come out and press. If a player goes into a space where there's one of them 3 centre-halves and they feel like they can go and track and win the ball and affect it, you'll see that today from Palace. I think that'll suit Liverpool, especially early on, with the stats showing that they haven't scored the first 15 minutes for a while. I think crowd behind them, 3 games left at Anfield. I think that'll be massive today to see a good start for Liverpool. I'm expecting that, especially with the way that Palace are setting up today to come out and press.
One of the things that could help Liverpool today is that after a spell of injuries and being slightly depleted, they have more names on the bench. One of those names is Diogo Jota. So often he is the man who can come on and find that finish when it is needed, and that is an ace up the sleeve potential. Not just in this game maybe, but in the games moving forward.
Yeah, well, it's all starting to come together, and again, I think we've touched on this in previous shows when you try and rush injured players back in, and it doesn't have the right effect. Diogo Jota, of course, I don't want to call him a super sub. I don't think that's right. I think in his own right, the guy scores goals, but he is, as you've said, able to come off the bench and make a difference. I think with Ali coming back as well, makes a big difference. And it's just around the club. There's been this volatility, shall I say, to team selection over the period of the season almost, through injuries. To actually get some calmness and a gradual calmness being introduced back to the change room, I think it will give people a lot of confidence going into these last few games.
Well, we'll just look on the fact that Trent Alexander-Arnold is one of the stick-on names for this team and has been for the last 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is. He's not played since nearly the start of the year as well. He's back in the mix now and available. Another player to throw in that we've not been able to call on and haven't missed by and large because Joe and Connor have done so well. But what another name to chuck in for the final few matches.
Certainly, yeah. I think you'll see Trent today if the start doesn't go the way planned, along with Diogo. Two massive players for this side, and the lads who have played have chipped in with their absence. So it's great for Jurgen to have that option on the bench, and hope he doesn't need that, but it's good to have if the game plan isn't going to plan, and he can bring them two players who can change the game instantly, make that instant impact that Liverpool will be looking for if it isn't going.
Yeah, good options to have if today it doesn't go to plan. Good options to have for the rest of the games remaining as well. Okay, as ever, we'll have audio commentary of every kick of this afternoon's game available for you to follow on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. We cross live to the main stand gantry now, where Steve Hunter is already in position. Steve.
Thank you so much, Mark. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, on a very emotional day, we have to say first, for the football club and everyone involved, of course, as we pay our respects to the 97 friends who will never, ever be forgotten. But I think today as well, on the field, it's 7 games to go, isn't it, in the Premier League? This team under Jurgen Klopp has always bounced back on the back of adversity. And let's face it, we all know Thursday was a bad day for everyone connected with the club. It's still not over. Remember Istanbul, remember Barcelona here at Anfield. So it's not just Anfield. We have done it before like we did in Istanbul. But today it's a full-on concentration back to the Premier League and trying to get 3 points here today. And this team, as I say, is all about recovery under Jurgen Klopp and firing straight back into the fantastic form we know the lads are very much capable of. And talking of that, well, we do have a great record against Crystal Palace. Jurgen, in particular, has won more Premier League games against Crystal Palace than any other side. And Liverpool unbeaten in the last 13 Premier League games against Crystal Palace. It's a 2-1 home loss back in April 2017. So that gives us a lot of hope as well. What also gives us a lot of hope is the return of Alisson, isn't it, in goal? It's absolutely brilliant to get the Brazilian #1 back. He's missed the last 14 games in all competitions. And, we've got to give a big shout out to Quevin Kelleher. Quevin has saved us in big games. I'm thinking of the big save from Dunk against Brighton. Big saves here in the Anfield win over Burnley. So Quevin Kelleher has played a massive part. But the distribution, I think, that Alisson gives us is a massive, massive difference for this team, and hopefully we will see it today. But don't forget, folks, in the Premier League terms, it's just 3 home games left under Jurgen. Let's make the most of this and get back to winning ways today. It's back down to pitchside now to the one, the only, Mr. Mark Benstead.
Thank you, Steve. You've got to love Steve. I know the enthusiasm. You're not up for the game now, you'll never be up for the game. Yes, we're back with Steve alongside Neil Mellor for around about 10-2 for all the live audio commentary of today's action. That's on LFC TV and LFC TV Go. And that's the place where our build-up continues in a few moments' time. For those of you watching this on social media, you can find details online, liverpoolfc.com/watch, of how you can subscribe. Still to come before kick-off, we'll bring you the thoughts of both managers and an exclusive interview with Alexis McAllister. After the game, David, Martin and I will be back pitchside from 4:15, the Matchday reaction. That show will also be available as a podcast later on too. There'll be free highlights of the best bits available to watch for free on LFC TV Go at 6 p.m. And do look out for Inside Anfield on the club's Facebook and YouTube channels on Tuesday. Another big game for Jurgen Klopp's men this afternoon. They just keep on coming. The Reds have the chance to return to the top of the league for a couple of hours at least. More build-up is on the way next.
Liverpool have won the double.